Isabel. And there was
When you're a philosopher, evil is a thought that you contemplate a lot, because there's a lot of evil out there in this world. And there's a lot of great causes out there that you can put your focus on, plenty of diseases and victims of disasters. But the true measure of good is to take a stand against evil when you see it. And this is an evil that we're seeing creep into the headlines. Just the other day, if I understood the article I read correctly, a Toronto doctor was caught with a trafficked victim. So this isn't just happening in the seedy underbelly of the disgusting motels that we never go to. These are trusted professionals who are getting involved. You may take your kids to these people someday. And it is very important that regular citizens, independently, take up the cause, pressure your local electeds at every level, because this is something they need to be on top of. And if they are not, well, then we know who ends up on the bottom.
Let's be honest about this. It's real, and it's amongst us right now. A very good friend of mine who works for Family and Children's Services just a week and a half ago talked to me about how she was dealing with a 15-year-old girl who said, "I'm fine, I'm safe. All you have to do is just drive me to the airport and I'll be okay." They didn't drive her to the airport because they said that they knew that there would be somebody waiting for her there who would get her out of the country. I want to thank everybody who is here and everybody who's wearing a sign. I love the signs. We do this for freedom. We do this because nobody should be forced to do anything that we can. We do this because we believe that exploitation of any kind is wrong. And from my point of view, sexual exploitation is perhaps the most hideous form of exploitation that there is. It victimizes people in a fashion that they should never be victimized. It takes something that is a human, caring, tender experience and turns it into something dark and degrading and exploitative. There's only one thing that I can say. I'm here and I'm going to walk because it's my duty. And it's my duty for two reasons. One, this is a fundamental human right that we are standing up for. And secondly, because I am a local politician, I believe that I should stand up and I should explain what it is that I believe in. And I believe in freedom, I believe in choice, I believe in human dignity.
I do work with Victim Services Wellington, and my role there is the anti-human trafficking support worker. So I support victims of sex trafficking locally. I've been working in the field for the past 5 years in both prevention and aftercare roles, here in Canada and abroad. And I can tell you that regardless of where it's taking place, the abuses, tactics, and violations of human rights and dignity inherent to human trafficking are the same everywhere, and Guelph is not immune. As you will see demonstrated today through these chains, the chains that hold a person captive in a trafficking situation are often intangible, oppressive factors, and coercive techniques. This past year, we've been focusing on addressing sex trafficking in Guelph and Wellington County because it is the main form that we are seeing locally. The Alliance Against Modern Day Slavery found that between 2011 and 2013, the main form of trafficking in Ontario was also sex trafficking. And in 2012, the Canadian Women's Foundation talked to service providers all over Canada, and they identified over 22,000 women and children who were commercially sexually exploited. And that's only those who access services and that service providers were able to identify. We have found that the more we talk about this issue in our community, the more we are able to identify those affected by it and provide them with support. We have received more than 40 referrals at Victim Services just over the last year related to sex trafficking, where before we'd only had 1 or 2, and I'm guessing this is only the tip of the iceberg. We have seen women of all ages and as young as 13 take the bold and courageous step of stepping out or accepting support for trafficking-related experiences. So my role at Victim Services has been to provide crisis intervention as well as ongoing care and support for those impacted by sex trafficking through the provision of practical, physical, and emotional needs. However, service providers in our community have been rallying around this issue for some time now. This past year I had the privilege of joining in the work that's being done locally, but it's been a very collaborative process. While there are very few human trafficking specific supports in our region, through the creation of this care path, we've been able to identify that we actually have all the services and supports a victim of trafficking may need available here. Our community has secured the funding to continue the work of assisting victims and survivors in navigating and accessing these services available to them in Guelph and Wellington County. So I believe that if we continue this conversation, if we educate ourselves and develop an understanding of the challenges and the barriers and the oppressive factors victims of trafficking must overcome, and we let this knowledge change how we respond, we will be able to identify and support more victims and survivors every day.
5, 4, 3, 2,